The story begins in 1946 in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. Viola Desmond, a successful black businesswoman, owned a beauty salon and beauty school in Halifax and was a role model for many black women in her community. One evening, while on a business trip, Viola's car broke down. She found herself with some free time and decided to see a movie at the Roseland Theatre. When she entered the theatre, she unknowingly bought a ticket for the balcony, which was reserved for black patrons at the time. Viola, however, sat in the main floor section, which was unofficially whites only. When an usher told her she had to move, she refused. Viola saw this as unjust and stood her ground. The theatre staff called the police, and Viola was forcibly removed, arrested, and taken to jail, where she spent the night. The next day, she was fined $20 for tax evasion, a false charge claiming that the 1-cent difference in ticket prices between the main floor and the balcony justified her arrest. Viola's arrest sparked outrage, and the black community in Nova Scotia rallied around her, calling her treatment unfair and discriminatory. With the support of the Nova Scotia Association for the Advancement of Coloured People, NSAACP, she decided to fight her conviction. Her case highlighted racial segregation in Canada, which many people thought only happened in the United States. However, Viola's appeal was unsuccessful. The courts upheld her fine without addressing the blatant racial discrimination she'd faced. Though Viola didn't win her case, her resistance had a lasting impact. Her courage ignited discussions across Canada about racial inequality and human rights. It inspired further activism, helping to fuel the civil rights movement in Canada in the years that followed. Viola's story became a symbol of resistance and highlighted the injustices faced by black Canadians. In 2010, decades after her passing, the Nova Scotia government granted Viola Desmond a posthumous pardon, acknowledging that her conviction was a grave injustice. She became the first Canadian woman to be featured on the country's $10 bill in 2018, symbolizing her place in Canadian history as a trailblazer for civil rights. Viola Desmond's legacy teaches us the importance of standing up against injustice, even in the face of daunting challenges. Her story is a reminder of the individual's power to spark change and of the importance of recognizing and addressing discrimination wherever it exists. Through her act of courage, she has inspired generations to continue the fight for equality and human rights.